Yeah. So I think from my end, the most important thing is relationship. So when I think about content, I don't really think about keyword stuffing or anything like that. Or kind of,
Hmm.
frankly, I'm probably not doing a good enough job to optimize for search engines and things like that. But what I really think about is what is it that what problems is that article is supposed to solve. So right now, as editor in chief, I have to be very, very careful about picking the right topics and kind of publishing the topics that I know will be interesting to the audience. And so I really think about problem first approach, basically. So if an
Okay.
article covers some sort of an issue which is often misunderstood, or maybe
Hmm.
which often creates doesn't have which often doesn't provide isn't really clear from the very start, where you might want to explore many different options, but then exploring these options takes time. So maybe it would be a good idea to actually have a case study, and we'll look into very deep into one specific topic and try to make it a reference article. And of course, there are plenty of sites out there wonderfully doing this job, where you find a lot of blogs which just really take this notion to extreme, take a very practical problem that many people have, right? Things that people search in, not Yahoo, I guess, anymore,
Hmm.
in Google, right? Is Yahoo still a thing? I don't know. We'll have to talk about it later, maybe. But so they take this problem and then they really break it down into some or kind of show some solutions to that issue, how to make it better. One thing that I think we don't spend enough time talking about is how do we delete things. So
Okay.
very often we talk about how to publish, and
Yeah.
we are really good at publishing. I mean, at this point, when you look around, again, tons of really incredible articles really published everywhere about how to do anything, right? Sometimes it's a little bit too much advertising going on. Sometimes it's a little bit too noisy. Sometimes it's just not written well enough, right? But there is a lot of good content out there. At the same time, there's a lot of outdated content out there. So many projects I'm working on, not necessarily European Parliament, just in general, you can see this notion of, the site has been existing now for maybe 10, 15, 20 years. And
Hmm.
so there are different departments who care about different sections of the site, and nothing ever gets deleted. And as a result, you end up with issues in search. You end up with issues with traffic because it's all over the place.
Hmm.
There is no central place that kind of communicates a particular topic to a particular audience. It's kind of all fragmented and scattered all over the place. And this creates some issues down the line of people kind of finding very different points of view about the particular topic and not knowing what to trust. They
Okay.
will then look maybe at the date, or things like that. But this is actually quite important. And in general, optimizing for scanning, that's something that we've been doing very early on, where you need to be
Okay.
able to go from the article, from the top to the bottom, and really by bolding some of the important takeaways, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that people understand what's going on. Maybe just one quick point on that.
Yeah.
I think we often, and this has kind of been a thing that I've had as my personal mistake in the past as well, we'll be often looking into things like bounce rates and how often or how long do people stay on a particular page. And I learned very quickly that this is not necessarily the best metric to keep in mind. Because if somebody is staying for 4 minutes on a particular page or for 2 minutes, it doesn't really represent a good or a bad experience.
Hmm.
They might be staying on a page for a long time because they don't understand what the page is about.
Yeah.
They might be spending only 30 seconds on a page because they perfectly understand what it is about, what options they have, and all of that. So time on a page, for example, is not very relevant, right? Obviously, if you have a very high bounce rate, that's probably a bad idea. People come and people leave very quickly, right? And so presenting a solution to the problem quickly is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like you have to drag people through, I don't know,
Okay. I see
long,
what you
long,
mean.
long, long read. But sometimes you want people to experience content, kind of dive into that case study, or dive into that story and really explore all of it from all the different perspectives, from the design perspective, from the content strategy perspective, from the development perspective. And this is where really nice, lengthy articles with a lot of examples, which could be used as reference material, could be very, very helpful. That's pretty much the main focus of what we are publishing now. Every article that gets published, more or less, is not necessarily a big guide, but it will contain some part of that story, right?
Hmm.
So case studies, or maybe taking something like a very simple design pattern like a carousel and just really going all in. I mean, research on those carousel article that I've written, I think 2 months ago, that took, I don't know, maybe 60 hours, gathering all the examples and all of that. That was really exciting for me, but I don't want to see any carousels anymore. But I don't have to. And hopefully people who are going to watch it now or maybe read that article later will know what to do with the carousel.